Hey everybody, I'm Farron Cousins in for David Pakman, and this is the David Pakman Show. We've got all kinds of great stuff coming up today, the latest on Afghanistan, of course some COVID updates for you, and even a little bit of insight into what is happening with Republican Congressman Matt Gaetz and that investigation, and some other problems that he's having right here where I'm sitting in Florida's 1st Congressional District. But let's kick things off. Obviously, still the biggest news in the world right now, Afghanistan. Things getting worse, of course. And here's something interesting that's happened. And this was actually pointed out by Dave Weigel of the Washington Post, where Weigel pointed out over the weekend that a web page on the RNC's official website seems to have disappeared. And that website, or web page, I guess, was the page talking about Donald Trump's historic peace deal, as they called it, with the Taliban with regards to Afghanistan. If you go to that page now, there's just a 404 page not found error, because apparently the Republican National Committee doesn't want people seeing that they're promoting that ridiculous peace deal that Donald Trump allegedly worked out. And there's a couple reasons for that too, so let's dive right into those. First and foremost, they don't want any attention on what Donald Trump did as president with regard to Afghanistan. And let's be honest, there's a lot. But the peace deal that he allegedly had worked out with the Taliban that was signed in February of 2020 is the biggest thing they don't want people to remember. And that's because once you dig down into the details of this so-called peace deal, you realize how horrible it actually was. And the biggest problem with this peace deal is that it completely excluded the Afghan government. No leaders from Afghanistan were involved in the drafting of this, and the protections that the United States agreed to with the Taliban did not extend to the actual Afghanistan government. The deal only pertained to U.S. troops and our NATO allies in the country, that the Taliban would not attack them in exchange for the United States agreeing to leave the country within 14 months. But nowhere, not any part of that agreement, did the Taliban say, oh, by the way, we won't promise to not attack the Afghanistan government. Apparently that was just a major oversight of this peace deal. And of course, as soon as the United States leaves, the Taliban goes and overthrows the government of Afghanistan. So yeah, it's not surprising that they would want that web page removed from existence, because they're boasting about it, talking about, look what Donald Trump did bringing peace to the Middle East with this historic deal. Nope, another total failure by Donald Trump. Another reason, though, that they do not want this page out there in existence, and I think this is probably the bigger one, is because they want all the focus right now to be on Joe Biden. That is the goal. Make this Biden's failure. Make this all about his decision to remove troops from Afghanistan, ignoring the fact that even just a couple months ago, Donald Trump was screaming at the top of his lungs to tell Joe Biden to get the troops out of Afghanistan. But they have to frame this as Biden's failure because that's the new talking point. It emerged fast, it emerged quick, and based on what we're seeing in the media, tends to be the sticking narrative at this point, that this is all Joe Biden's fault. And let's obviously be clear about this. That's not the case. This is the fault of 4 different administrations. But if you had to lay the blame at anybody's feet, that blame is going to be squarely at the feet of George W. Bush, and I will get more into that in just a little bit. But the talking point from the RNC, from Republican officials, from elected officials, from Donald Trump himself, is all about Joe Biden being a catastrophic failure. And they're hoping that they can ride this all the way through the midterms. I pointed out yesterday on the program that the Republicans have had a hell of a time getting any kind of talking point to stick about Joe Biden. They have crafted all these narratives. Fox News has tested them out. And even Fox News at one point was getting frustrated because nothing they were saying or using to attack Biden was resonating with the audience. Well, this is something that would resonate. And again, as I mentioned, fair or not, Biden was the president when this happened. So if people are going to blame somebody, they are going to blame him. I don't agree with that assessment at all. But I also live in reality. I've been doing this long enough, coming up on 2 decades at this point. We know how these things play out. We know where the blame is going to go. And we know the talking points that the Republicans are going to use. And one of the main reasons we know that is because we're literally already seeing it happen on social media, in the corporate media. Republicans are pushing this nonstop, and they want to keep it that way. They want the focus to remain on Joe Biden because that's the message. Joe Biden couldn't keep Afghanistan safe, and if he can't keep them safe, how's he going to keep you safe? We're already starting to see the narrative crop up of, what does Taliban taking over Afghanistan mean for terror attacks here in the United States? Several outlets started reporting stories like that on Monday. They're already trying to pose this as what is the significant threat that this will pose to us here in the United States. Can Biden even keep us safe now? We're right back into that same post 9/11 mentality where every time you turn around, there's a boogeyman being pushed on you by these politicians who are using it to scare you into submission, to scare you into voting for them. And that's what we're starting to see now. It's disgusting, but again, it's 100% predictable. This is how they operate. This is the way they craft their narrative. This is the way they sell it to the public. And unfortunately, the Republican Party is very, very good at selling these narratives in a way that the Democratic Party can only ever dream of being. On issue after issue, Republicans get out front on the messaging, and that is what sticks. And then the Democrats have to come from behind trying to defend it, debunk it, refute it, whatever it is. And they're never on the offensive, and this narrative has already been lost. It's already been lost. So again, whether you agree with Biden's decision to pull the troops out, I do. Whether you disagree with it, doesn't matter. The narrative that the media has already captured is that this is a failure of the Biden administration, and Republicans are going to ride that all the way to the 2022 midterms.
I've struggled falling asleep at night and realized part of it could be because of the blue light coming from my phone and computer screens. And peer-reviewed studies have shown that blue light can suppress the hormone melatonin, which can make it difficult to fall asleep. Blue light can disturb your circadian rhythms. But it hasn't been an issue for me since I discovered BlueBlock's glasses, which filter out that blue light. They're one of our sponsors. A lot of other companies are mass producing supposed blue light glasses in factories with no actual quality standards. BlueBlock's glasses are made in actual optics labs at their headquarters in Australia. They have over 40 stylish frames, a prescription version, non-prescription, even reading glasses. And for every pair of glasses that BlueBlock's sells, they give a pair of reading glasses to someone in need. You'll get 20% off when you go to blueblocks.com/Pacman. The link is right underneath this video, and there's free shipping worldwide on orders over $115.